All right, Shalom, Shalom, Mr. Brother Mousa.
Shalom, Mr. Brother from our all.
All right, today, you already know, as you see in the title, it's part 3. Remembering Joseph, man. We gotta, you know, we've been getting in this thing for the past 2 episodes. If you ain't seen those, hey, make sure you go tune in to those because these accounts and all of these things is not written for no reason. They're not written just to be a cool story. It's not written just so you could watch the Veggie Tales episodes like we used to watch growing up about Moses and all this stuff. And it's just cool. And it's not a campfire story. This is stuff that really happened. So I want to get a preset right quick and then I'm going to pass it to the brother so he can continue on from where he left off from last week. Let's get the classic. Let's get Romans chapter 15. Romans. It's like my page sticking together. Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So this account was written. The Most High made sure that it was recorded on paper for us so that we can learn from it and so we can have peace and have comfort. Patience and comfort. So like what you got to
And all praise Shalom, man. First, we got to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashah, Pamalak, Yahushua, man. Right, all praise to the Most High. Part 3 for Joseph, right? Most High went through the Spirit. We're just going to, get right to it. But I'm going to bring this precept out, right? James chapter 5, verse 7 says, Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. So patience, long suffering is the fruits of the Spirit. And as we get into our forefather Joseph, many of our forefathers, they possess this spirit, man, patience and long suffering. And as the brother brought out Romans 15 and 4, this is written for our learning, right? So we got to have that patience of the coming of the Lord, whether that's, you're trying to get a new house, new car, remember the precepts, whatever that means, whatever that be of you to pray to the Most High, gotta have that patience that He will come through. Right? It says, "Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain." Right? So the husbandman waited for his precious fruit. So as you being a servant of the Lord, you got to wait on the Lord, man. Right? So we get right to it with Joseph, man. Right? Get right to it. Most are willing, we can end it out with Joseph, and Lord willing, we can go to one of our other mighty forefathers, man. Right? So we was in Genesis chapter 39, verse 10, dealing with Potiphar's wife, man. Right? Which is off. She was talking to him day by day. He didn't listen to her day by day. You know, and that's how brothers be taking heed to those demons, man. Listen to it day by day. That's how much you got to deny yourself. That's how much you got to deny temptation. Right? So let's read that Genesis chapter 39, verse 10. And it came to pass as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie by her or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of men of the house there within. Right? And says, and she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out. Right? And so, hey, Joseph left, man. All right? You got to flee from sin. You got to flee from the thoughts that's within your mind that's trying to plague you. Right? You got to.
That was perfect what you just said about fleeing from sin, right? We finna get a precept on that because what Joseph did was one of the mightiest things you could ever do in the face of sin. And honestly, that's a trait that I desire to have. You know what I'm saying? To be able to flee from sin the way he did, because you got to think you're not gonna be tempted by something that's not tempting. You feel what I'm saying? And so instead of him sitting there like, nah, baby, nah, I can't do that. Nah. Hey, he got up out of it. You know how fast you got to be running, how hard you got to be fighting to come up out your clothes. You feel what I'm saying? So let's get this in Sirach, chapter 21, and verse number 2. Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. For if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee. The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. It said that the teeth of sin is like the teeth of a lion, right? Hey, if a lion get a hold of you, what's the likelihood of you fighting off that lion? He sink his teeth into your leg. You think you're gonna get away from me, lion? It don't work like that. And Joseph understood that. It literally says he left his garment in her hand and fled. He didn't even care about the clothes. You gotta understand, this man got up out of there with no clothes on. He ain't care. Before he sinned against the Lord, he was like, nah, I'm gone. I'm out of there. And he kind of beat feet. He got up out of there. And hey, like I said, in Romans 15:4, these things is written for our learning. We gotta have that same spirit. And Lord willing, that even I, and I'm sure this brother also desire to have that same exact spirit to flee from sin. But you gotta
Right, mighty precept, man. Gotta flee from sin. So, hey, the way he flee, you gotta flee from, your sins weighing you down, temptation. Hey, the point that the brother said, you're not gonna get tempted by something that's not tempting. Satan knows what tempts you. He knows you, right? So you gotta run from the things that's tempting you. Run from the things that's plaguing your mind. You gotta flee from those things. Who you run into? Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? So, all right, let's read on. Verse 13. And it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, See, he hath brought in Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. This is the same spirits of the heathens trying to get a Israelite man, jammed up, right? So we're gonna skip some verses, get right to it, get to the point, right? We're gonna go to verse 17. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which he spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in prison. How often does an innocent man go to jail? Right? John the Baptist, Yahushua, an innocent man gets taken captive. He get put into prison. Right? Let's read on. Right? But the Lord was with Joseph and shewed him mercy and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. So just imagine, gotta think about it through the spirit, gotta be in the spirit. A lot of things was going through Joseph's head, and all he had was the fear of the Lord. But the Lord shewed mercy and gave him favor in the prison. So whatever you're going through, you having faith, patience, you long suffering, you having temperance, the Lord will show you favor in a situation that you're in. Your damn car broke down, you in the middle of nowhere, you having temperance, you having patience, you ain't got no signal. For some reason, a brother drive past you, man. The Lord end up showing you mercy. Brother pick you up, take you home. He know what's wrong with your car, get it fixed. The Lord can do these things. But hey, this is a prime example of that we're so spoiled. We got this book, but Joseph didn't have the Proverbs and the Sirachs like we brought out, man. He didn't have the First Peter and Second Peter. He didn't have all these things. He didn't have visuals. All he had was the wisdom of his grandpa and his father, right? Both his grandpas, Abraham and Isaac, right? And his father Jacob, man, Israel, right? But you got out.
And then, like the brother just said, he had the wisdom of the ancient. That's it. Wasn't no listen. We've been saying it for like the past 2 episodes. It wasn't no wisdom of Solomon. It wasn't no Ecclesiastes. Wasn't no Proverbs, Psalms. It wasn't none. There literally was not a book of the Bible written yet at this time. Think about that. They didn't have nothing but the law and the wisdom that was passed down. That was it, right? But we get this book. We get to read about these things. Like we said last episode, there was no Joseph for Joseph to read about. He had to do all of this just off straight up faith and fear of the Most High. So I want to get this in Job chapter 13 and verse 15. Because Job understood the same thing that Joseph understood. It's Job 13 and 15. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him, but I will maintain mine own ways before him. Job said, though he slay me, though the Most High has put me through unimaginable things. And anybody who's read the book of Job, heard about the story of Job, we don't even have to explain the type of things Job was going through. And yet and still, he said, yet will I trust in him. I mean, what type of spirit you got to have to go through that? That's the same spirit Joseph had. Imagine your brother's been slow. We just read in the last couple of episodes everything Joseph went through. Then you finally, okay, I'm still in this foreign land. I'm still a servant, but hey, I'm over the whole. I'm a master of the house. And then by you keeping your righteousness, by you running away from sin, fleeing from sin is from the face of a serpent, like it's saying Sirach 21 and verse 2, you go to jail. Imagine you get locked up. You didn't touch this man, woman. You ran from her. You was like, no, I ain't touching you. And you get locked up. You know how Jake be sitting in the county, pacing back and forth. They got them county slippers on. They mad. They mad as all HE double hockey sticks. Right? Now imagine you know for a fact you didn't do nothing wrong, but just like Job, you thinking, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. And we're gonna see what the result of trusting in the Most High, no matter what you're going through, can get you. What you got?
That's right, man. All he had was the wisdom of the ancient. Right? So I'm gonna bring this precept out. Sirach chapter 2, verse 10. It says, look at the generations of old. We're looking at the generations of old. We're not talking about now in the flesh. You know, people still at 80, 70, the 76, 80, 92. So hey, somebody out there that's 110. And we talking about that. We talking about this book right here, man. They knew they knew the Most High's name. They knew who their nationality was. And they've been through a lot, man. Right? It says, look at the generations of old and see. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing Joseph literally go through hell and prosper. Why is he getting afflicted? Why is he going through things he may not understand? And he's still having a fear of the Most High. He's still praying to the Most High. And you think about it through the Spirit, he's still calling upon the name of the Lord. He's not getting his emotions, right? He didn't, I don't deserve this, man. I don't, just weep. Take his friends off and go back to smoking weed, man. The old typical Jake. But Joseph ain't do these things. It says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? We seeing our forefathers trust in the Lord and it was never confounded. Who gets confounded by trusting in the Lord? But you see brothers get confounded when they trust in man. You see it when they trust in Christianity. They get confounded. You trust in Jehovah's Witnesses and Buddhism and Egyptology. You trust in those, you trusting in man, and you get confounded. But whoever trusts Yahweh Bashem Yahushua got confounded, man. Right? And that's a question. All right. That is a question. It says, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Who was forsaken? Was Job forsaken? Was Abraham forsaken? Was Isaac? Was David forsaken? Was Saul forsaken? Yeah, he was. Because what did he do? He didn't obey the Most High. right? He didn't have obedience. He was delusional. He was stiff-necked, man. And you see how you get forsaken. But Joseph, him trusting the Lord, he never got forsaken. Him being obedient, him going through the fire, right? Let's get that. Let's get Isaiah. Because for one, when we reading about our forefathers, he went through the fire, man. We got to go through the fire. We're not perfect. We're striving to be perfect. So we got to, no, let me get, before I get to that, let's get John chapter 15. I believe that's 15. Right, John chapter 15. Right. John chapter 15, verse 2. It says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Right. And we see in the account Saul, he didn't bear forth fruit. It's many forefathers that didn't bear fruit, and there's many forefathers that have. Right. When you read, it says, in every branch that bear fruit, he purgeth it. Joseph was getting purged, man. Yahushua got purged. David got purged. Right? Paul got purged. Peter, our mighty forefathers. Jacob Jacob too. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. I want to say Judas. That's what I want to say. Simon, they got purged, man. Right? He purged it that it may bring forth more fruit. So you got to go through the fire, man. That's how you become perfect. That's the baptism, the affliction. Right? So let's get Isaiah 48, verse 10. It says, behold, I have refined thee. Right? Joseph was getting refined, man. Right? While you getting refined and you going through these things, different situations in your life, and you complaining about it, something's wrong with you. That means that you think that you already got it together. You don't. No man has it together. I don't care how much you pay your bills on time. I don't care how much you take care of your family. There's always something that you need to work on. You missing something. You're always missing something, right? It says, behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee. We've been chosen, right? We made a covenant with the Most High. That's a contract that we just signed. And the Lord telling us what the contract is. It's not like these 360 deals, man. You ain't just signed no contract that don't know what's going on. They tell you get the promises. They telling you get all the land and this and that, but they're not telling you what you had to go through to get that. See, these contracts, they tell you, damn, they give you all the cars, the women and everything, not telling you that, well, how much percent it is, like, damn, 10% of that money go to them. Really, really, really on the contract, they they really like all that money that you get and the things that you do, you paying for it. They ain't even letting you know that. So that money, you really not seeing it. You got to pay them back, the videos and everything. Your music not really yours. You know what I'm saying? This contract that we signed, the Lord is telling us it's not even in small print. It's in big letters. He letting you know what's up. You've been chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. Our forefather was chosen in the furnace of affliction. So he's getting refined. And all the things that you go through is literally for you to teach Israel, for somebody that's going to go through the same things as you. It's written for our learning. As present now, brothers go through things. It's somebody out there that's a babe that the Lord's going to put them in that same exact situation. And he's going to need you, through the Spirit. He may not know, but he going to end up wanting to talk to you to get counsel. And you'll be able to do that because of the experience that you had and how you was able to flourish through that affliction, man, by the grace and mercy of the Most High. So let's get that. Let's get since I quoted that. Not quote, but yeah, 2 Corinthians through the Spirit. Because everything you go through is literally for somebody else. We don't labor for ourselves. This 2 Corinthians chapter 1, I'm going to start at verse 3. Blessed be God, even the Father of our Lord, Yahushua, the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort. Right? These scriptures is all comfort. And if you're not getting comfort through these scriptures, you got to fix your spirit. Because what gave our forefathers comfort? The fear of the Most High, knowing the Most High, knowing you can call upon the name of the Lord. They knew they can call upon the Lord and they'll be able to get out of it. Who was confounded? That trust in the Lord. Joseph, we're going to say it again. Joseph didn't have the Bible. He didn't have that. Got to think about that. That's something we got to think about that every day. Literally, we got to. Because you going through all this, you going through light affliction. Our forefathers went through way worse, and you have a Bible in your face. Right? So these scriptures all comfort. It says God of all comfort. Right? Read, who comforted us in all our tribulation, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble, by the comfort wherewith we ourselves are comfort of the Most High. So all the things that we go through, right, is literally for another brother so we can comfort them. Hey, this is what you got to go through. Sirach chapter 2, verse 1 on down. Romans chapter 5, verse 3. We go through these precepts because we went through these precepts when we be going through it, and now we got to feed the other brother or sister, man. Right? But you got out.
I got a beautiful precept going into what the brother's going into right now. Let's go to Psalms chapter 20, right? And I'm gonna start at verse 7. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord our God. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Hey, one understanding that has always been with the chosen people of the Most High, when it went from the sons of God to the Israelites, all of that, all that line of chosen, one thing that was always understood, was that, hey, the Most High got all the control. When it says, remember the name of the Lord our God, you got to think, right? We can't read the Bible like Joel Osteen, like some creepy old pope with that nasty white robe on and that nasty crown that they put on themselves, right? Which is evil in its own right, but that's not the point. We got to read this understanding that this is David. This is a man of Judah. He's a Judite. He would have looked like one of us. He would have probably looked like this brother next to him. He'd have probably looked like me. You feel me? So the way he talk is how we talk. He said, I'm going to remember the name of the Lord our God. And when Jake say, hey, they going to know who I am, they know who I am. That's how he's saying it. He like, man, we gonna remember who put some respect on the Most High name. That's what he's saying. Some trust in chariots and horses. What's a modern day chariot and horse? Some trust in the money that they got. Some trust in a fame. Some trust in the material things. That's what the chariots and horses represent. But remember, in the name of the Lord, hey, you could be down on your knuckles like Joseph was. You in prison, bro. Any Jake who's ever been to prison, we all know somebody. Even if you ain't been yourself, you know somebody. You didn't have to accept. You had to dial, press 5 when that phone call come in. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to send money through that JPay. You didn't have to do something. You didn't have a cousin, uncle, daddy, best friend, homeboy from work, homeboy from school that went to jail. Hey man, it ain't no. You're not in there just having a ball. You're not in there. You can't do this. What we doing right now? Guess what? I can get up from this video and go walk down the street. You can't do that when you're in prison. But what you can do, no matter what situation you in, is you can remember the name of the Most High. You can always do that. I mean, this the whole point of us going into Joseph. This man brothers sold him into slavery. Think about that. Y'all used to look. This the one your mama used to say. If y'all gonna go down that street, y'all got to take your little brother with you. That was Joseph. Them the same ones he wanted to go. His big brothers and them, they going outside to play with their friend. Well, I want to go. Hey, we know how that go. You got your little cousin, your little irritating cousin. You trying to go kick it. You probably trying to go see the shorty down the street. Your mama make you take your little cousin with you. You can't even go see her. Y'all remember that? You was 10, 11, 12, whatever. Hey, that's the same man who got sold into slavery by them same people. And he never forgot the name of the Most High. So how dare we, like the brothers say, we go through something small, your car break down. God forbid a brother blow a tire. Now the Most High don't exist no more. Now the truth ain't real. Now we not really the Israelites. Now what else? What's some other faithless behavior a brother could have?
Man, he what they be saying? When I was an Israelite.
You know what I'm saying? Why I left the Hebrew Israelites. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just a bunch of, and that's a scary thing. That's terrifying to me, man. To have tasted of this gift and to go back into this deny the Lord. I mean, that's basically, you know, SUICID. I can't say it on YouTube, but y'all get my drift, man. You basically you hanging yourself, but you got it.
Yeah, man, that's off, man. Right? So I'm pretty sure through the spirit, Joseph, like, man, somebody may need to learn from me. Somebody gonna have to go through this. It's a reason why I'm going through this. It's a reason. It's a reason why I'm going through this. All praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. No, he's saying that through the spirit, man. And the Lord showed him mercy. So the things that we go through is literally for to comfort another brother. For you to comfort another brother, man. Right? And a lot of end, that's what Joseph done. Right? So hey, this is written for our learning, man. Who was confounded? Trusting in the Lord. Right? Let's get that. Let's get Sirach chapter 25, right, verse 10. It says, "Oh, how great is he that findeth wisdom." Right? Yeah, it's great that when a man finds wisdom. It's beautiful, man. You know, he didn't know anything. He didn't know no dark parables. He didn't know, oh man, Deuteronomy 28th chapter. Oh man, all praise to the Most High. John 3:16 and second address. How great he findeth wisdom, right? But it said, "Yet is there none above him that feareth the Most High." So who was above the man that feareth the Most High? Who was above the man that feareth wisdom? A man that fears the Most High. So Joseph had the fear of the Lord. David had the fear of the Lord. That's ultimately faith. You having the fear of the Lord, you have faith in the Most High. Because you having fear of the Lord, you're not going to do certain things, right? Let's get that. Let's get a quick account real quick, and then we're gonna go to Joseph, right? Let's get Second Maccabees, all right? Second Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 30. Get right to it. Right? This is Eleazar, right? It says, "But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, It is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death." Right? He could have been delivered from death. We all can be delivered from death through the power and mercy and grace of the Most High. Yeah, we could be delivered from death. But what? It says, "I now endure so pains and body by being beaten, but in soul am I well content to suffer these things because I fear him." So yeah, we can be delivered, but we also can go through what? Famine, torture, getting scourged, beaten, all type of things for the Most High sake. And we endure it. Why? Because the fear of the Lord. Because we are appointed for these things, man. Everything ain't glitter and gold in its truth. It's bittersweet. But hey, you got people that love that bitter taste, man. You got brothers that like that bitter taste in wine. You drink it. You be like, brother, why you drink that? Hey, those the brothers that, hey, you never know. They got a high pain tolerance. The Lord is dealing with somebody who got high pain tolerance, man. You crying every time you get in a situation. You crying. You know, you ain't got no deal with the spirit. Our forefathers how to deal with the spirit. That's a deal with the spirit. I'm gonna deal with it, man, because I fear the Lord. Our sisters had that spirit, and that's a cut for brothers. Sisters endure way harder than you, and that's all. You know, they go harder than you. It's some WNBA players that ball harder than Jake. Is they better than Jake? No, but their work ethic is better because first of all, they get paid less than the NBA, so obviously they got no choice but to go harder. You know, yeah, our sisters go hard, man. It ain't just Jake. But sometimes Jake be acting like Eve, and then Eve be acting like Jake how he's supposed to be. That's backwards, bro. Really, it should be a nice balance. Both parties should be doing it, right? But this is a deal with the spirit. Let's read that again. It says, "But in soul am well content," right? So he had contentment to suffer, man. The Lord deals with contentment, man. You got brothers that ain't content with the knowledge of the Lord. You want to know all these deep things, but you're not content with what you have. You're not building upon that. That's why you're not gonna reach far in this truth. Because one, you're not even sincere anyway. You want to know so much. Why you want to know so much for? You know the Most High's name. Know the commandments first before you start breaking stuff down and talking about the moon and the stars, the firmament and the beats. Hey, slow down, brother. Slow down. Slow down, sister. Right? Let's read that again. It says, "But in soul am well content," right, Salakia, "to suffer these things because I fear him." Who is above him that feared the Most High? Joseph feared the Lord. Jacob feared the Lord. Noah feared the Lord. Noah had to fear the Lord by building that ark because he knew it was going to rain. Yeah, let the Most High give me a dream, and it's so-called having rained in Babylon, and he tell me it's going to rain. I got to build an ark. I'm going to be scared as hell. It's going to rain. It hit you. I bet it hit Noah's spirit, man. Let's get that. Salakia, let's get that, man. Right? Let's get Luke 17. Let's bring that out. Luke 17, verse 26. Right? It reads, "And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it also be in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all." So just imagine the things that Noah had to go through. The scoffing. Just think about it through the spirit, the scoffing, and they probably threw stuff at him. Boy, you slow. They probably said some crazy stuff, man. He had to fear the Lord, though. He knew hey, the Lord gonna deliver me, man. It's gonna rain. You know what I'm saying? That faith, man. While everybody out there just enjoying themselves. These things written for our learning. And the flood came and destroyed them all. Right? You not having fear of the Lord, faith in the Most High, you getting afflicted. Now these demons overtake you. Now you got destroyed. Well, you wasn't even meant to get destroyed. You were meant to grow. You got a whole crown for you. You have a whole crown written, your name written on it. The name that you thought was your name today, but the Lord called you something else in third heavens through the Spirit. You could have found that out. But nope, you decide to dwell in your problems. But when you read these scriptures, man, when you read about our forefathers, they didn't dwell in their problems. They had faith in the Most High, right? So we can get back to it. We ain't got nothing. All right. So we go to Genesis, right? We go to Genesis. Let me see, second time. Oh yeah, we got a lot of time through the Spirit, right? So we can go right to it. He was locked up in prison, and he got favor in prison, man. Right? So we're gonna go to Genesis chapter 40, right? We're gonna go right to it. Genesis chapter 40, verse 8, right? Man, this good, man. I want to right. We're gonna go to verse 2, right? It says, "And Pharaoh was wroth against," right? Genesis chapter 40, verse 2. "And Pharaoh was wroth against 2 of his officers, against the chief of the butlers and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard into the prison, in the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them. And they continued a season in war. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream. The butler and the baker of the king of Joseph, king of Egypt, which were bound in prison," right? So they had a dream, and we know that, if brothers don't know, and sisters don't know, Joseph going to be the one to interpret it, right? And this is a talent of Joseph, right? So let's go to verse 8. It says, and they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, do not interpretations belong to the Most High? Tell me them, I pray you. So this is a talent. So imagine if Joseph was soaking in his problems and he in prison and he wouldn't use the Lord talents. You have a whole talent the Most High gave you, through the power of him, and you not using it because you dwelling in your problems. Just imagine you down, your car pop a tire. You so afflicted, you don't want to change the tire. That's madness, bro. That's madness, man. Oh man. Hey, you go ahead.
It's like, just imagine, right? You didn't pop your tire. You didn't have. Hey, this happened to me before. This quick. I'm promise you it's gonna be quick. I remember I was still in high school. I had my first car. Literally, I had my first car for like 2 months. Okay, I'm in this situation. Somebody turned out in front of me. I had a green light, smacked my car, totaled my car. I'm sitting there. Of course, I'm mad. It's my first car. I had it for 2 months. Destroyed, total, right? A dude rode past, and he was riding like a Tahoe or something. And he was like, "Hey, y'all need a tow or whatever? I got a towing company, X, Y, and Z." I'm like, "Oh yeah, for sure." Because I think if the police tow it, they gonna charge you X, Y, and Z money. You gotta go downtown and get it. You gotta do all this stuff. Now imagine if I was, and I had my little woman at the time in the car with me. Imagine if I'm sitting there on her, I'm crying on her shoulder, and oh my God, and this is my first car, and how I'm gonna get that help from the brother? God forbid, you pop your tire on the side of the road. You done had 3 tow trucks roll past you, but you too busy crying in the front seat to see it. You know what I'm saying? You kicking the car, you punching the windows. The Lord then sent 3 tow trucks to you. You know what I'm saying? He done had 7 cars pull up and stop. Like, hey, you need help? I got AAA. Hey, you ain't even gotta pay, bro. I got free tows with AAA. I can get you out of there. And you just sitting there wallowing and crying. Right? I mean, that don't make no sense, man. And Joseph, like the brother said, if he was moving like that, he would have missed this golden opportunity to glorify the name of the Most High. But you got
God, that's madness, man. 3 tow trucks. And you just don't. You just mad. Damn, turn it to Homer Simpson, man. Now you want a donut. That ain't gonna help you, man. Right? So he got a chance to glorify the Most High. So much he was dwelling in those problems. You have a chance to glorify the Most High. You dwelling in your problems that much, you don't want to teach, brother. You you got some you gotta go to council, man. Right? So Joseph was able to interpret it, you know. We can read a little bit down. Let me see, hold on. Right. Wow, we can jump down verse 12. It says, and Joseph said unto him, this is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head and restore thee unto thy place, and thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner when thou was his butler. Right? But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and shew kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. So this is a whole opportunity that the Lord put him in. And you dwelling in your problems and you not having faith in the Lord, you will miss this opportunity. You don't want to miss an opportunity that the Most High gave you. That's scary, man. Man to give you another opportunity. Barely. Right? But man to do it, man, to at least, think about it. The Most High, we set his mind on something, that's it. Majority is really Jake. You see it, no more. But missing the opportunity from the Lord, you got to be careful, man, because how many opportunities Saul had? You know, we got to really think about how many opportunities Saul had, man. I'm just reading about that, man. It's like, man, that's scary, man. You didn't listen. He told you one time, then you do it again. Joseph had one time only. We're not saying the Lord just gave him one time, but he took advantage because he wasn't. He was. You could tell he was in the right spirit of the Most High. He wasn't denying the Lord's coming. He still had faith, right, and confidence in the Lord. Right. Let's get that. Psalms 118. Right. This Psalms 118, verse 9. It says, "It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes, man." So it's best to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes, man. Right. Let's read. Start. I'm gonna jump up to verse 8. It says, "It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man." Because literally, you're not putting your trust and confidence in the Lord. Who you putting your trust and confidence to? To all the thoughts that's going in your mind. You believe in all the damn just vain thoughts in your mind. Not thinking about the Lord's name whatsoever. Not thinking about all the good things He done for you. Not thinking about that you was appointed for these things, right? But Joseph took advantage, man, right? So him doing this act, him doing this act, and he told him, he told the chief butler, "Hey man, remember me." And that opportunity came, right? So let's get to it. Genesis 41, right? Genesis 41 and verse 1, right? It says, "And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river." So we know Pharaoh had a dream, right? And he needs someone to interpret it. I don't want to read the whole, you did, due to the second time, but he had a dream. And we know that Joseph interpreted dreams. If he would have missed this opportunity, best believe he wouldn't have had a chance to interpret Pharaoh's dream or to even talk to the butler to remind Pharaoh, even though he forgot about Joseph, but it's all on the Lord's timing, right? The Lord just didn't want it to happen at that time. But it literally was brought up. Let's get to it, man. The Most High code, right? This Genesis chapter 41 and verse, let me see. Where's what I want? Right. Verse 9. It says, "Then spake the chief butler." I'm gonna start at verse 8. It came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the musicians of Egypt and all the wise men thereof. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Nobody could interpret his dream. Nobody. Right? Verse 9. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, "I do remember my faults this day." It came up, he remembered. How did he remember? The dream. He like, oh man, so what if Joseph missed that opportunity because he's soaking and dwelling in his problems, not thinking about the Most High? And, this would have happened and he would have been he would still be in prison. He probably would have died in prison, right? Because what we found out is your thoughts can kill you. That's scientifically proven. You keep believing you got cancer, you're gonna end up getting cancer. See that? Right? But now he remembered his faults this day, right? And right, verse 10, it says, "And Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in ward and the captain of the guard's house, both me and the chief butler, and we dreamed a dream. And one night, I and he, we dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man in Hebrew." So the Lord put him on. Hey, the Lord always put us on. The Lord just put him on. Hey, man. That's like when Jake be trying to rap and stuff like that. And you ain't getting no recognition or whatever it may be, And then next thing you know, a brother come up like, "Hey, man, I low-key was listening to your music. I know so-and-so. But you still don't know. Ain't nobody really messing with me, Joe. Like, ain't nobody Man, I ain't trying to hear that, bro. You ain't, you know what I'm saying? Just whatever. And now you just missed the whole opportunity. He could have played your music to whoever these artists. I don't want to say no sodomite artists. You know, he probably could have played your music to J. Cole or something. Next thing you know, you know what I'm saying? Guess you got to connect, right? Joseph got to connect, man. Joseph made connections, right? It says in Hebrew, servant to the captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted to us our dreams. To each man according to his dream, he interpreted, right? So, hey, he got put on. He ended up interpreting Pharaoh's dream, and all this Joseph went through so much, going through a lot, man. We reading about the story of Joseph, how he was at the bottom and he's getting lifted up. Let's get that. Let's get First Samuel. Israel is known for coming out the bottom. We was made like this is the foundation of the earth, man. We always get it out the mud. And he teach us how to deal with that. That's all you hear Jake rapping about. Get it out the mud. He probably was raised by silver spoon. He's still gonna say he got out the mud. You know? But whole time he could be speaking spiritually because obviously he had to do things on his own because there's certain things his mother and father never taught him. But that's what they like to talk about. That's what Jakes like to rap about, right? Because we are spiritually getting out the mud. I mean, we're not ruling yet. We was, but it been taken away. Now we got to get it out the mud, man. We got to take it through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. This First Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. So this is spiritual. We reading Joseph was brought down to the grave and he bringing him up, man. Right? Verse 7. The Lord maketh poor, maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. Joseph literally getting lifted up. And all the things that you go through, and like I said previously, you know, is to comfort others. It's to help others. The thing that you're going through is to help others. Joseph's situation was literally to help his brothers because there was a famine, right? And him to preserve the whole kingdom of the ancient Egypt was really for him to preserve the children of Israel just so they can multiply. That's beautiful, man. That's all the will of the Lord. You soaking in your problems, you neglecting the will of the Lord. That's crazy, man. You neglecting the will of the Lord. That means that you so concerned about yourself, but you ain't thinking about the nation. That's off. That's off, man. That's off, right? That is so off, right? So we can go to, right, if you ain't got none, we can go to Genesis 41. Genesis 41 and 41, right? So it says, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand and put it upon Joseph's hand and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen and put a gold chain about his neck. See this? All the things that he been sold by his brother, been betrayed by his brother. He been put in prison for something he didn't do, right? All the things that he's going through, and we don't, you know, just by the account we read, is more than he probably went through. In the midst of him, his brothers, and him getting taken to prison, it's more, you know, in the midst of that. And now he's getting lifted up, right? It says, and he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had, and they cried before him, bowed the knee, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. Because it's easy the Lord to put you up on top, but what is he doing it for? What is the purpose? You know, he gonna choose the right spirit for this situation, for this position. He's not gonna put anybody, you know, in that ruler position. So if Joseph was soaking in his problems, being afflicted, and just him having to fear the Lord, that's mighty, man. We got to learn these things because he went through all that and was able to what is the point I was trying to say? Yeah, basically, you know, if he missed that opportunity, he wouldn't be in a position now of where he at. He wouldn't be ruler of Egypt. He'll still be in prison. But you got something about?
And think about this, right? He started off, he was 17 years old. Got that coat of many colors. This is how the most high, this is how amazing it is. He was glorified with that coat of many colors. His own brother stripped him of that, put him in a low place, literally put him in a pit. The Lord raised him up out of that pit to be in the officer of the Pharaoh's house. So he was in a high place, he was in a higher place than he was before. Then he got cast down again into prison. Then after prison, now he dealing with Pharaoh directly, not an officer. This is the Pharaoh. Like, imagine if the Most High put you in a position to where Donald Trump got to come to you and be like, "Hey, I don't know what's going on. I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z in my mind. I didn't heard that you a wise man. Hey, I need your help." Imagine that. Imagine Donald Trump call you right now. Hey, Shemawal. Hey, Mawasar. Hey, sister, this brother Judah. I'm gonna send a car out there. We're gonna say, what's his plane called? Is it a Air Force One? That's what I'm gonna send Air Force One. We're gonna send a car to you quietly. We're gonna fly you out here to DC. I need to see you face to. Just imagine that. You from Chicago, you from Baltimore, you from Jacksonville, you from whatever city you from, St. Louis, or you from Detroit. My God, if you from Detroit, bless your heart. But you know what I'm saying? You from one of these places where it's the slums, it's nothing. Or you just got out. Tell me this not a story about Jake. He just got out. He fresh out. Hey, you know what I'm saying? This is us. When we read the Bible, bro, we really have to remember this is us. He was locked up for 2 years and he was running the yard. Think about that. Joseph was running the yard when he was in prison. You know how Jake be. You know, Jake get out of jail. They got all type of fantastic stories about how they was running the yard and they was running the line at the end. And they got all these stories. Hey, Joseph was literally that. He ran the line, he ran the yard, got out, and the Lord put him up. I'm gonna read this verse. Let's read Genesis 41, and I'm gonna read the next verse after where you was just reading that. Genesis 41 and verse 44. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, this is like Donald Trump saying this to you. I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. Think about that. Imagine Donald Trump like, hey, not a single American is going to lift a hand or a foot unless the brother Shemawal say so, or the brother Mawasar say so, or brother this, elder that, sister this, elder sister that. Unless they say so, nobody's doing nothing. He in the land of the heathen. Think about that. He just got out. He's fresh out. He was locked down in a pen, and now he's in a position to where not a hand or foot will be moved in the land of Egypt unless he say so. You want to talk about having fear of the Most High and having faith in him? Like the brother brought out in Sirach earlier, is none above those that fear the Most High. You got to really remember that he just got out of prison not too long ago. And now he's running an entire bro. If you look it up, there's a reason why the Most High speaks on Egypt so much throughout the Bible. Egypt was like, think about how America is now. You can't talk about the state of the world right now without speaking on America. America is the greatest kingdom on the planet. Egypt back then was our version of America, or its own version of. I'm talking about Egypt was it. Like it was. There was no other nothing comparing to Egypt. And an Israelite who just got out of prison, he was just locked down with them numbers, taking mug shots. They, you know how they do. They got you turn this way, then you got to turn this way. And that was just Joseph not too long ago. And now he's running the entire. He's running their version of America. What you got, y'all?
Hey, Khan, yeah. Hey, that's beautiful, man. Trump telling you, man, what should we do? And this, man, if that was two brothers in the congregation, damn, Trump go up to Naquam and the boy, they gon' damn, they mess around, fire come out their eyes for real. Like the spirit just gonna take over the flesh, man. They just gonna, this is what you gotta do. First of all, you they gonna get on them. You know, that's beautiful. But Joseph went through so much, man. And then look how he just get brought up. This same spirit is how we can be if we keep the fear of the Most High. Because he didn't have all this, man. We got the whole blueprint. We got a whole blueprint, man. We got a whole map the Lord gave us. Everything. What more can we ask for? We can call upon the name of the Lord. We can read about our forefathers. We can hit up brothers, get up sisters, you know, the sisters. Take advantage, man. Take advantage. Joseph literally was locked up. He didn't step up to Pharaoh until he was 30. Let's get that. So from 17 in his 20s, his teens, his 20s, now he 30, getting out, he looking in Pharaoh in the face, and he's ruling the land of Egypt, man. If that ain't mighty, what is that? Because that's how Jake want to live. That's how you know this book is. That's how Jake want to get out of prison. He want to rule. He want to take over. He want everything. That's how he want to move. That's literally how he want to move. He got out of prison, got a gold chain and a ring. That's how they do in these industries, man. Gave him a chariot. That's how Jake want to be. Get out of prison, put a ring. The young thug in them. Yeah, they be so happy because they got something to go to, but that's the spirit that they moving in. They get out, they put their gold chains on, they fresh shoes, they ride off something smooth. They got their woman, and hey, that's the same spirit. That's how they be doing it in the industries, man. And that's how actually Joseph was living. But it wasn't off of his will, it's off the Most High's will. So if you're not having fear of the Lord, and you know you're appointed for these things, you're not doing the will of the Most High. You literally neglecting it. You saying it don't matter to you. Whole time you're appointed for these things for Israel's sake. Because our kids, the kingdom, man. Lord willing, we make it to the kingdom, we're gonna be talking about this stuff to our children. You gotta tell your kids, yeah, sure, I was I was getting afflicted and I gave up. This that ain't gonna you know, God forbid, but that's madness, man. You ain't finna hear that in the kingdom. I gave up, man. Sure. You know how Jake is shit. It is what it's like. It is what it is. It is what it is. I, went back in the world. That's off. So let's read that verse 46. It says, and Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went, first of all, let me go back up because you read 44. Let's go to 45. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zevnath Padniah, if I said that right, Salaka, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. So Pharaoh gave him a chain, a ring, a chariot, and a woman. That's what that's what Jake want when he get out of prison. That's what he want, man. He gave him all, and that was the Most High. The Lord gave him a woman so he can bear seed, bear forth children, right? And he died a beautiful death. All praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. This is the life of Joseph, our forefathers. He didn't have the book of Psalms. He didn't have Ecclesiastes. He didn't have these things. What did he have? The fear of the Lord. Let's go to the fear of the Lord, man. All right. Let me go to the fear of the Lord. Matter of fact, let's go to Job, chapter 28. Job chapter 28, verse 28. It says, unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. So how did Joseph, he got that wisdom from his grandfather, to Isaac, his grandfather, and to Jacob, his father. He has the wisdom of the ancient. It says the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom. Because when you fear the Most High, you wise. You won't get in certain situations. Jake get into anything because he don't know how to fear the Lord. He get into whatever. Oh, I ain't finna do that. I ain't finna do that. Oh, I ain't finna think like that, man. No, absolutely not. God forbid. No. That's how Joseph was moving. Oh no, you know what? Abba did tell me so and so because the Most High, so I'm not doing that. See, we got this whole book. You, Jake, man, should I? No, Sirach, it did. Sirach, chapter 2, verse 1 and doing 10. And then, oh man, then you freak off. That's madness, man. You read the book of Job, then man, Job did go, but he endured. Man, I can't do this no more. You jammed up, man. But hey, Joseph, he was patient, long suffering. He had to fear the Most High. That's wisdom. It says, and to depart from evil is understanding. Joseph had understanding. He departed from evil. What was the evil? Trying to avenge his brother, hatred towards his brothers because they gave him up. Let's get that. Right? Let's get that through the Spirit. Right? Let's get that. Let me see. That should be right. Let me see. Genesis chapter 40. All right, let me see. Yeah, I can go to Genesis chapter 45. We can start at verse 1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried because every man caused every. So like I'm gonna read that again. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried because caused every man to go out from me, right? And stood there. Right, and there stood no man with him, Salakia, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph, do my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. They was terrified, man. Right? And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither, for God did send me before you to preserve life. Right? To preserve life. He didn't have hatred towards his brother, man, because he knew the will of the Most High. It was to preserve the children of Israel. So our seed line can keep going and going through our generations, man. And look, we had another example, another account that why we still here today. Because he did the will of the Most High, right? He cried towards his brother. Did he? I'm ruling and forget y'all. Jake be quick to do that. Man, y'all wasn't with me. Y'all wasn't with me in prison. Y'all ain't doing. That's how Jake be moving. But when you understand the will of the Lord, you'll see, hey, man, this was all just to help y'all out. All praise to the Most High. To help us in our seed line, That's understanding, right? The fear of the Most High, that is wisdom. And to depart from evil is understanding. Joseph had understanding because he departed from evil, hating your brother, defrauding your brother, lying to your brother. He didn't do none of these things, man. That's a man of the Most High. A man of the Most High is patient, have the fruits of the Spirit, long suffering, endure affliction, allowed the Most High to do his will and not his own, right? So let's go to that. Genesis 50, right? I want to, let me see. Because he literally tell them. Right? Genesis 50. Start at verse 15. And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us and will certainly requite us all the evil which we did unto him. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren, in their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of the God of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spake unto him. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face, and they said, Behold, we be thy servant. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of the Most High? But as for you, ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good, to bring to pass as it is this day, to save much people alive. Right? He had that's knowledge and wisdom and understanding. And he didn't have all those precepts, man. He didn't have all the precepts. He had to fear the Most High. He departed from evil. Knowledge and wisdom and understanding from his fathers, his great grandfathers and his fathers, and the things that he's seen because of the experience that he was getting, man, as a young man, right? It says, Now therefore fear ye not, I will nourish you and your little ones. And he comforted them and spake kindly unto them, right? That's beautiful, man. He comforted them and spake kindly unto them. He didn't have no evil in his heart. He forgave them. How it was, I'm going to say it easy, or a way to be able to forgive them because he knew the will of the Most High. Look at Yahushua. Joseph gave him up, but he knew the will of the Most High. Yes, he could have been upset. Does that mean he could have called 12 angels? He already knew Joseph gave him up. He already knew the spirit, not Joseph, Judas. He knew Judas gave him up, man. He already knew who was going to be. Did he hate him? No, because it's the will of the Most High, right? Hey, but all praise to the Most High, man. You got something up?
Kind of. You was done. I just had one last closing comment.
Go ahead.
Kind of. So, this one thing I want to call to attention. There's two things, but it's the same point. The first point is understand that it took 13 years, at least, for that dream that Joseph had to come to pass. 13 years. He was 17. Think about this, right? He told his entire family, hey, basically, I had a dream. All of y'all was gonna bow down to me. And it took 13 years for it to happen. You got to think, all that time he didn't lose faith. 13 years. Jake, what happened? You know what I'm saying? You trying to apply for this job. They tell you, okay, I got an even better one. Your Amazon package is supposed to come in 7 days. Here Jake go, they check the tracking number every 2 hours. Let me go to this email, kind of click on this tracking number. All right. Let it say your package is supposed to be delivered between 10 a.m. and 1 a.m. At 10 a.m., a Jake standing at his door looking for the Amazon van, right? And we just talking about something that take a couple days. Joseph had to go through all of that for 13 years before basically the promise that the Most High made him through that dream came to pass. In that same 13 years, his father believed that he was dead. Think about that. How heavy is that? For 13 years, you thought your son was massacred by an animal. 13 years. Y'all be saying, Eve, her son died. He gets shot. Police kill him, whatever. She on the news, they be real tears. Listen, I couldn't imagine losing a child. I couldn't imagine not being able to see my child again. Y'all done seen him before on the channel if you'd have been in a couple videos. I couldn't imagine. So imagine for 13 years, just so that the will of the Most High can be performed, you got to sit there and believe that your favorite son, your favorite one, is dead. You ain't gonna never see him again. So Joseph and his father Jacob both had to endure for 13 years just so that the will of the Most High could be done. So I want to get this one last precept before we close up, right? Because this is a beautiful 3-part series. I mean, absolutely beautiful. All praise to the Most High for the opportunity to even be able to make this video or these series of videos. This is Second Esdras, chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 33. Then I answered and said, how and when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore are our years few and evil? This is Esdras asking the Most High, like, how long is this gonna take, pretty much? Like all due respect, Lord, but like, how long is it gonna take, man? We going through it now. Our days is few, our days is evil. I'm seeing all type of adulteries and murders and idolatry and covetousness. I mean, it's bad down here. How long is it gonna take for you to deliver on the things that you said? And let's see what the answer was. Verse 34. And he answered me, saying, do not thou hasten above the Most Highest, for thy haste is in vain to be above him, for thou hast much exceeded. He told him, hey, watch yourself, bro. You sitting here you hasten in vain, trying to make the Most High hurry up and be on your time. What if the Most High take 13 years to give you what you want? Can you endure that long? Let's say you praying for a wife. You keep the commandments. You make sure you got your friend is on. And what year is it? 2025. The Most High don't give your wife until 2038. Right? You praying that the Most High, I'm going through this sickness. I got this. I'm dealing with this back pain. My children is disobedient. Whatever situation. Imagine the Most High take 13 years to get you out of that situation. Can you endure that? Can you endure that? I know I said that was my last precept, but let's get something on endurance. Let's see what the Lord said. All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 24, and then we can close up. Because Joseph didn't have none of these scriptures we read, and yet he had the understanding. He understood what was going on. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse number 13, the classic. But he that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. The end. He that endures unto the end, the one that can push through until the very last moment, that's the ones that's going to be saved. The ones who move with the same spirit of Joseph. Prison can't stop you. Your own brother selling you into slavery can't stop you. Being falsely accused of attempted SA can't stop you. Being forgotten in prison by somebody. Just think about that. He helped that man out. That man forgot him for a minute. He was still locked up after all he done for that man. All of them things happened to Joseph, and yet and still he endured unto the end. And you read on, hey, Joseph lived to be 110 years old, man. I mean, for that 13 years of him climbing up, going through that, 80 years he got to live after that. 80 years. So, hey, can you endure your 13 to get your 80? That's a question I have to ask myself. That's a question all of us as the Lord's people have to ask. Can I endure my 13 years like Joseph did? And yours might not be 13 years, might be 13 days, might be 13 months, it might be whatever. Can you endure that? What they say is lifetime, not a lifetime. Jake love to say that. That same principle applies to us with these scriptures, man. So we gotta continue to endure like Joseph. This was part 3 of Remember Joseph. We have to remember Joseph. We have to. But with that, if the brother ain't got nothing else, you got something else out?
God, just one precept.
Con, you got it.
God, all right. This is John chapter 5, verse 30. It says, I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just. Right? This is Yahushua. Because I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me. So Yahushua did the will of the Most High, not the will of himself. Right? So Joseph did the will of the Most High, not the will of himself. So we got to make sure when we in these things and we not doing the things the Lord put us in, I know we got to ask ourselves, like, are we neglecting the will of the Lord? Do we want to do our own thing? Got to ask yourself that. But hey, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, man. My Lord willing, Israel was edified. have patience, long suffering, you know, and endure to the end as Joseph did. Right? Kwame Yashara.
And with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh by Shem Yahushua for another beautiful opportunity to bring this word out and to edify the sheep. Kwame Yashara, Shalom.
Shalom.